Hello and welcome to Only Humanities Game of the Year episode covering the titles that were released in 2014. The human recorder there is Mr. Patrick Stardust. Take a bow.
Master of Foley. Hello. Your presenting type man who just said words is CJ. Take yourself a bow.
Oh, I could be dancing, yeah.
Just a bow would do.
Right, so what we're doing our Game of the Year list, which everybody's doing, and we did last year, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But we've kind of shaken things up a little bit this year. In this, probably won't be able to hear, but here is a box with screwed up pieces of paper.
Are you literally shaking them up?
I am literally. Listen to that.
Oh,
paper and cardboard in wonderful harmony.
That isn't Foley. That's an actual effect he's doing.
That's happening in my world right now.
That's for realsies.
Yeah, jealousy bros.
Girls.
Right,
the way we're going to do this. Explain to the listeners what we're going to do. Go for it.
Right. So we're calling this episode the Lucky 7 because we've got our top 7 this year. We had a top 5 last year. We've got a top 7 this year, but we have a load of other little categories that we're going to sort of jump into with surprising things as we go along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the box,
shake it,
and then
shake it like a Polaroid picture.
It's quite a big box, and there's about 7 pieces of paper in it. So it's not like the dun.
Is it like the world's shittest snow globe?
No, it's beautiful in its own way. So we're going to delve into that at certain points before that top 7. I'm going to pick a category and just talk about a few bits which we may well race through quickly, may have more detail on. But yeah, that's the really long-winded way of doing things. I'm going to take a cup of coffee.
What coffee are you drinking today?
It's Guatemala Antigua today.
Oh, very nice.
So I believe Cassis Yellow is released on Thursday, so I'm excitedly looking forward to that. But back with the Guat in the meantime. Shall we do the first hold on, I used the box. Random category.
That sounded incredible. Do that for everyone.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Hang on, drum roll.
Was that a real drum?
Yes.
Did you sit in a packet of crisps afterwards? Okay. Right, I'm going in the box, and then I'm going to announce it in the box.
Go for it.
First category. Late obsessions.
Oh, what's this category about, CJ?
Right, so this category is the games that didn't make the Lucky 7, the top 7 of the year, but possibly could have done, or games that you played towards the end of the year and are really enjoying, perhaps, but you couldn't quite crowbar them in because we're not far enough into them, or the opinions is kind of swinging back and forth a bit, I guess.
Yeah, okay. How many of you? I've got one.
I've got 2.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, my first late obsession, and it is a huge obsession, is Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, really?
I've been going back and forth with this game. I've been getting into it, then falling away from it a bit. I was comparing it a lot to Dragon's Dogma initially because, the more Dragon's Dogma goes on, the more I realise how wonderfully designed it is, and how tight it is, and how focused, and how brilliant the fight mechanics, everything. The more time goes on, the more Dragon's Dogma sings to me. And whilst Dragon Age Inquisition is, a different game within its mechanics, there's still the open world, and there's still the enemies that are there, and I was getting sort of little flashbacks and pinings for Dragon's Dogma as I was going along. And I got a little bit of advice at a certain point, which was to get out of the hinterlands, which is the opening area that you're in, because they're a little bit boring. Because these vast open expanses, but you can go for a couple of minutes and then maybe encounter a couple of bad guys, and then keep going and maybe find like a cave, and there might be a few things in there, or I wanted more from it than I was getting at that point, but I still found it a really great game to relax into. my point of comparison on that would probably be Fallout 3,
Okay.
which was a game that I could just put on the couch and just play and enjoy, just walk within that world. And it was an involved. Fallout 3 for me was an involving game, but it was one that I could relax into when I was playing it.
Yeah.
I took the advice and got out of the hinterlands and progressed the story a little bit. I met a character called Sarah, who was really funny, and her voice actress is actually from around here, which is kind of cool. I might have even served her at work, bizarrely enough. And I really liked Sarah. Sarah was the first one of my bunch where I enjoyed the acting. I enjoyed hearing her speak. She was very forthright and very sprightly and very funny and a little off the wall. But the big thing was when the Iron Bull has been mentioned a lot on the internet as being really cool. The Iron Bull is really cool, and not just within kind of his attitudes, but as a member of the party, he's fantastic. And the way that he and Sarah are interacting at the moment, the conversations are so funny. There was one the other night, and this isn't a particular spoiler, and I don't know if this conversation happens, if it's other people that are talking to the Iron Ball, but he says, "Hey Sarah, do you remember that woman from the other day?" And she's like, "The one with the big tits." He was like, "I prefer to think of it as this splendiferous bow that was on the front of her dress, which teased and moved as she walked." And he was like, she was like, "Yeah," and she had big titties. And he was like, "Sarah, there's a woman behind those titties." She's like, "Yeah, way behind."
That's kind of fun.
Little things like that like really made me laugh. And the area that I'm in at the moment is an area called the Storm Coast, which could well be the most beautiful level I've ever seen in a game. I was getting knots in my stomach. These huge, massive, angry waves like crashing at the shore. Beautiful forest areas. There are these caves which are full of giant spiders, which between the beauty, the oceans and the spiders, I now understand Australia, and it's astonishing to move around in. I moved further down a beach and I saw what I thought was a dragon, and then I saw a giant attacking the dragon, and the dragon and the giant had a fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was funny because we watched it and then Iron Bull just went, "That was badass." And I'm like, yeah, I find myself wanting to go on it night after night after night. And even if I know I've got places to go and I've got things to do in the game, I just kind of go, "Oh, I wonder what's over there." And it does a thing that I really love in games, where when you wander off the beaten track, the game rewards you for it.
Good, that's good to hear. Like, because I mean, my Dragon Age experience is only really with the first one, with Oranges, and I could not get into it. I really wanted to, but I think after about 3 hours, I'd grown bored of the endless fucking talking.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, there's less of that in here.
Good, but it sounds like what's there is funny. Like, if that's funny, it's not just like endless talking about words that you don't know what they mean yet. But didn't you find like the taint in Dragon Age or something? The tainted.
What's that?
In the first one, Dragon Age Origins, I'm sure they had a stupid name for the bad guys they were fighting.
I don't know. I got Dragon Age 1, but I didn't get into it. I just, in a similar way to you, I couldn't find my way into it.
Yeah, let us know on social networking or YouTube, because I'm sure they had a stupid name, and I don't want to look it up now.
But from what I can tell from other folks, I mean, there's a lot of folks that are saying that this is their game of the year, and I imagine if I'd have had this earlier, it may well have been my game of the year.
Wow.
But the world is huge. It's incredibly pretty. Once you get out the hinterlands, and I'm putting a party together rather than my best fighters or the greatest chemistry. I'm keeping myself, Solus, who's my mage, Iron Bull and Sarah together, basically because those 3 characters are the 3 characters I enjoy spending time with the most.
Oh, that's good.
That's pretty cool. And so, like I say, that the conversations I had last night with Iron Bull and Sarah were just hilarious. They were really, really funny. And to have that was one of the things that I loved about Dragon's Dogma, was that it set up this incredible world. It put huge monsters in, but it was good for a laugh. And I think that breaks things up a little bit and provides a little contrast and a little colour. Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
So what would be your first one then?
My late obsession, my only one, again a game that had I started playing it, a month earlier, would probably be right up there, is Shadow of Mordor.
Oh right, yeah, cool, because you bought that when you came to visit me.
I did, yes, when Game had it for 25 quid, which is like, go on then, that's ridiculous. But I didn't actually start playing it until probably a couple of days before Christmas. It really was... I think I was playing Destas and just forgot all about it. I had it, and then, go on then, I'll chuck it and I'll have a go. And Christ, if I had this a month earlier, if I started this when I bought it, this very well would be wedged firmly in my Game of the Year list. The only reason it's not at the moment is because I don't feel like I'm far enough into it to really judge what it becomes. Yeah. I'm only unlocking kind of some of the cool stuff you see in the trailers, like the shadow arrow, where you kind of shoot someone with an arrow but then teleport straight to them and cut them in the head.
Oh, cool.
Which is fun, because when something's trying to escape from you, you're like, you're going nowhere, my son. Whip your arrow out, go into like slow-mo mode, shoot in the back of the head, and then just turn up next to him and go, oh, don't you fucking dare, boy. Really handy tool for getting out of scrapes as well, if you're in the middle of 1,000 orcs, which does happen a lot when you play the game like I do. So Shadow of Mordor, for those of you who are not familiar, which you should be, it's set in the Lord of the Rings universe before the Lord of the Rings films themselves. The only real crossovers between the movie and the actual game is Gollum's there, and the way the orcs look. Generally, it's its own story apart from that. You play a ranger, you run around, you kill a bunch of orcs. It's kind of a mix of Assassin's Creed with a bit of the Batman combat, and it's a really good, solid mix as well. They've taken the bits that work and mushed them together. But you'd think that would make it generic, and it isn't, because the Nemesis system that they slapped on top of that elevates it to a whole other thing. Like, it's next gen. That is what I want.
I've heard some amazing stuff on Chat and John and Chat Very Good, and like so many people. Nobody can do an impression of nobody can talk about what happens with that Nemesis system without doing the impression. Ranger.
Hello, Ranger.
Something like the name's Douche or something like that. Or
I've had a fell douche already, and I felled him. The douche.
Living the dream.
Yeah. But yeah, the Nemesis system. If a random orc gets you, they get a name and they go, I'll get promoted for this, Ranger. And then you sort of go to a screen where they kind of get some cool armour and they get a name, so that rather than just being called Skun, they'll be called Skun the Slayer, and you're like, oh fuck. And the next time you meet them, they'll remember what they did last time. So if last time, for example, you ran away from the fight with them, they'll go, you're not going to get away from me this time, Ranger. And they'll kind of press their attack a bit harder. They really do remember you, and it does feel like you actually build up a relationship with these these horrific green skin monstrosities, which all look, let's be fair, fucking beautiful. For ugly, ugly men and ugly, horrible monster faces, they're all recognisable. Like, there's real work put into making these faces look awesome.
Also, it's Monolith who did the first 2 Fear games and the first 2 Condemned games, and those Fear games in particular I've absolutely adored.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal for me.
Yeah, and yeah, I think the Nemesis system has given me more holy fuck shit laughing out loud moments than I think any other AAA game I think has given me this year. There was one particular one called Scoth Eagle Eye. He was an archer, and he was one that got a lucky shot on me. He was a generic orc, got a lucky shot. And kind of elevated to War Chief. I was like, oh, okay, right, well, I can have him. He's a captain now. I can take him. And I'd chase him down, and he'd run away from me, and he'd kind of... When you're sort of taken out, they kind of go into like a little last chance mode where you can kind of deflect the last attack and get back up and keep fighting. He'd get me to that position, not take the shot, and walk off, which is one of the traits they can have. He'd just laugh at you, go, See you again, Ranger.
That's worse.
I know, right? And he'd leave, and then he'd get power increases because he survived the encounter. So every time he turned up, he'd be stronger. And I knew this for a fact that he was hunting me because I was in the middle of a fight with a completely different guy. I see an orc in the background with a bow, and the bow is poisoned. And I thought, oh fuck, that's Scoth, isn't it? And I ran over, and he was just stood there, calmly shooting poison arrows in, just staring at me. I was like, you fucker. And when I finally got him, I think I may have whooped.
I've heard stuff where people have been in sort of massive battles and they just go Ranger. They'll be like biting the teeth together, gnashing them. Yeah. And it'll zoom on in, and it'll be like somebody from like hours previously, like, "Oh, it's you," or like, "What are you doing here?
I thought I killed you." my favourite one was I was in the middle of a fight with two captains, which was, you know, it's not a mean feat at the level of the game I'm at. It was hard work. And then a third just shows up, runs in the middle. You do the little clash sort of intro, and he goes, "Is this a bad time, Ranger?" I just screamed, "Yes!"
You see, this once again tying into the Dragon Age thing. Games that make you laugh in the middle of other stuff. Yeah, I love that.
But I couldn't I couldn't run away from fights like that because they were just too funny. I couldn't leave them. I think even if I died, I didn't care because it was entertaining. It was really, really fun. And like I say, I'm still sort of progressing slowly through it. The story, who cares? It's all about the Nemesis system. It's about finding orcs, making them your worst enemy, and then cutting their head off. It's a great game. It's fun. So what was your second late obsession?
Late obsession.
I need to get a box, don't I?
Yeah.
I've got a castle next to me. I could use that.
No. This is my joke.
Oh, okay, fine.
My second one is The Evil Within.
Oh.
A game which I'd kind of convinced myself wasn't for me. I was a big fan of Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, then remake on GameCube. I got Resident Evil 0. I got the DS version of Resident Evil. Resident Evil 4, obviously. And I used to love those games, but I kind of fallen away from survival horror quite a bit, and it used to be pretty huge for me. And in particular, I saw Guy Woodward on Twitter had been like playing the game like constantly, and he's like obsessively. He's finished the game 4 times now. Wow. Once on the very hardest difficulty level as well. And I saw a game had knocked it down to £22.50.
Yeah.
Before Christmas, and I just thought, well, I got a game I know I'm not going to get near, and another one that I finished. I'll take that and pay the £3 and get, and it was the limited edition as well. What I found was quite a lot different to what I expected. I expected something really, really violent and gruesome and realistic and gritty. And even though I'd seen the odd bits on trailers with, you know, the paranormal and sort of supernatural aspects in there, I just kind of thought it might be too violent for me.
Yeah, a lot of the trailers and pre-release made it look like that, didn't it? They're like, this is going to be the most extreme thing.
Well, I mean, my favourite of the trailers that I saw not long before I bought the game was he did that great thing that 70s trailers used to do, where instead of you almost getting like a 2.5 minute cut of the movie as there is in the modern day, it was like, this is Sebastian, blah, blah, blah. He's trapped in a situation he can't get free from. And it was just this fantastic like dialogue sort of going over the top. And, you know, with the black borders top and bottom, it really set the scene. I was like, it's
kind of neat, yeah.
Kind of warming to that. But terrifying first level.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying. And I'd prepared for this moment. I'd switched all the lights off in the room. I had to put a lamp on. I was that scared, which was ridiculous. And I was still fucking terrified when I was doing it. And when I got past it, things sort of calmed down. And there's the second level's sort of a little more. The world lets you breathe a little bit more. There's a lot more space to kind of lose yourself in. And as I understand it, the game keeps inventing itself sort of level by level, sometimes for the best, sometimes not so much. But there are times when you go into this other world where a nurse will refer to you like she's in some sort of David Cronenberg movie, and you're not you're not even there, and you'll go and you'll sit down in this chair in this hospital and explore your own brain and sort of give yourself all these perks and stuff, and then disappear back through a mirror into like the regular world. But at the end of the first level, there was this amazing cutscene where you got into this ambulance after leaving sort of the main building. All the world starts crumbling around you. There's somebody in the back of this ambulance going bonkers. The driver starts turning into a zombie. Buildings start falling on top of you. It's like something from Independence Day, but with this guy driving this ambulance. And it's what?
It's kind of neat.
Didn't expect it to be that kind of. I didn't expect that kind of bonkersness to it.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I'm kind of back where I used to be with survival horror. So.
Nice.
Recommended.
Yeah, it's one I've been looking at for a while, but I haven't picked up yet. But we'll probably will do on the strength of what people have been saying about it. That it's
I think you'll like it a lot. It's a strong game. It's got a good atmosphere, and it's hitting silly prices now.
Good.
So
I like silly prices.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Right. The second category then.
Head in the box time.
Right. I'll give you the choice this time.
Okay.
You call me Russell as many times as you want, and then say the word pick up, and I will pick up whichever one it is.
Okay.
So I've shaken the box, and now I await your commands.
Russell, 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 pick up!
Ooh, let's have a look.
Ooh. Head back in the box.
Not yet.
Oh. That's good sounds.
Most played game from any other year.
It's good, excellent. We're covering a lot of the good ones at the start. I like it.
Cool. So this is any title that wasn't from 2014 that you played the motherfucker out on?
Yeah, I have two. How many do you have?
One.
Okay, well I'll go first then. My first most played game from any other year is sort of a cheat because it did come out this year, but it's not a new game. First one is Final Fantasy X on the Vita.
Okay.
Which, yeah, it's a 10-year-old game, but it came out fresh on the Vita this year finally, but it's an old game, it counts. Man, I really still like Final Fantasy X.
Really?
This is a game that I've beaten probably 3 times prior to this and finished again for the 4th time about 3 nights ago.
Are you playing it on Vita or PS3?
Vita, all the way.
Okay.
And it's a very good home for it. Mm-hmm. It is bob on. I mean, I think you can now play up to Final Fantasy X-2, like from 1 all the way up to there, entirely on a Vita now, which is insane. Is
X-2 a separate purchase or is it free download?
It came bundled with it together. And it is a separate item when you download them, but they are bundled together. You can't buy them separately, I think. You might be able to, I don't know, I didn't.
Because I think the initial thing was they were going to put them both on one PS3 Blu-ray, weren't they? And then they were going to sell them separately.
It changed every 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. But that's not important. What is important is that the version they finally put out is really, really, really good. Mm-hmm. The CTB system, the continuous time battle, I can't remember what they called it now. The combat system on it is just as good as I remember it being. Attacks take place in an order, so you see like a little line of portraits on the side of the screen, so you know who's going to go next. So you can kind of strategize a little bit, plan a little bit, see what's coming, and it takes a little bit of the panic off that some of the turn-based systems can give you when you're like, "What are you doing? Thunder, quick, attack! I don't know." It gives you a bit more chance to mess around with the various effects and the statuses, you know, at your own sort of pace. Cracking world, amazing world building. A lot of people online don't like 10. They see 10 as the point when the series started to lose its way. I think they're all wrong.
It sounds like something really chunky to kind of get yourself into on Vita, though, as well.
Well, it's due to the fact that the Vita standby mode is really, really fucking good. You can be in the middle of something, literally just pop your power button, leave it on standby, come back the next morning, and the battery indicator won't have moved.
Cool.
It's really good, and the save points are quite frequent and prevalent without the game as well. And I've been playing a lot of it in bed, you know, and sort of sitting on the sofa while Laura's been on the TV playing it. It's a joy. It's a real joy of a game. It's colourful. It's quite positive. It's got its downbeat moments, definitely, but it's a very sort of cheerful kind of game. You know, lots of bright colours, lots of things going boom.
And who'd have thought years ago that we'd be playing that sort of thing on a handheld?
On a handheld, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It just makes me wonder where we're going to be in like 10 years' time, where I'm forgetting to get off a bus and ended up in sort of West Glasgow because I've not finished a level on Demon Souls.
Fucking Ornstein and Smo. That's why I missed my stop. Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Final Fantasy X HD. It's a hella purchase. If you like an RPG and you've not played it, just get on that. Just get on that. It's cheerful. You might not like some of the characters. Get on it. It's good.
Paddy says get on it. What are you doing? Why haven't you bought it? Why haven't I bought it? I might buy it.
Get on it.
Yeah, all right then.
All right, take my advice. Get on it.
Right, I'll tell you what I will get on.
What's your one?
And did like this, my most played game from any other year, which easily hoovered up about 6 months of my life.
I may already know which one this is, but continue.
Yeah, that's pretty much a groovy gibbon. But it's Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on Wii U.
I am shocked and surprised at that.
It was my game of the year in 2013, and I played even more of it this year. I'm on about 250 hours now.
Wow. And
let me tell you, I've still only barely scratched the surface.
How?
I know. I mean, a lot of that was spent online. Especially initially, because this time last year, after over Christmas and stuff, I was working like daft hours and my shifts were all over the place, and it was just a really good game to kind of come home to, jump into an online room, fight amongst other people, get bits that I didn't think I could get without them. Not even consciously. It's like, right, let's beat up some stuff together. And then there were certain points where it was like, oh, right, I've got this, or I can go for this, right. And so I had momentum in my own game to kind of hunt down certain things or try and, farm for certain items and stuff. And it just became more and more clicky and more of an obsession. And I started understanding it more, and then I did some streams with Gadget Girl Kylie and So Hellkite, and met monsters that I just not met before and was like completely out of my depth with at times. And that's really cool when you can get into a game, you're like, I think I figured a good portion of you out, and then all of a sudden you're like, what do I do? And yeah, I'm still finding new stuff and still playing it to pieces, and it's an amazing game. I'm very, very excited for Monster Hunter 4, and would really love it to be coming to Wii U. And it's still up in the air as to whether that's going to happen. But Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, there are loads of people that have bought Wii U's at Christmas. Get Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. You will not understand it at first. You'll kind of go, well, I'm not sure, and then if you persist with it, it will all fall into place in the way that I've always wanted to fall into Monster Hunter. And you came over last February, and you had a good look at some of the Ace Armors and monsters with massive hammer tails that would throw themselves across the landscape. And
I was all about the top hats.
Yeah, I know you were. It's all down to fashion.
Oh, every time.
but yeah, it's still commanding like about 40 quid second hand,
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's mine. What would be your
my other
your
one?
Second game?
Yeah, my other most played game from another year is one that I've already talked about on a previous show at length. It was one you were very happy I was talking about. Dragon's Dogma. Yeah. It was Dragon's Dogma is my most played game from another year. Again, it takes me so long to get into these things sometimes. I'm a kind of bit of a slow Loris on that. I do take my time, but when I get into something, it happens. And it happened with Dragon's Dogma. And I don't know why this time has clicked where it didn't before.
Sometimes it goes like that.
Yeah,
right?
I've played it before, and I've made my guy and done the opening kind of half an hour of it at least 4 or 5 times. I know I have. I spend more time in the character creator than playing the game usually those times, but something's clicked this time.
Can I just add on that front? The best character creator I've ever seen in a game.
It's not bad, is it?
It's brilliant.
It lets you make any kind of human you want, and I've tried to make ugly characters, and they still look roughly human, which is an impressive achievement. But yeah, no, I've spoken at length about it already, so I won't tread over the same ground. But man, what a game! Open world, running around. There's the goddamn baby dragon that's still sitting in a forest laughing at me whenever I go nearby. Like, I'm scared to go to a certain part of the world because there's still that baby dragon sitting there going, nah, you fuck off, mate. I know you can get past him, but it's never a fun trip.
Well, I mean, over Christmas, Dragon's Dogma Online was registered in Europe, which caused a little bit of a flurry. It's now been registered in USA and Japan just before Christmas. I put it to you that if Dragon's Dogma Online isn't a sequel, if it is, because they mention it in the same regard as Devil May Cry, and Devil May Cry has gotten like a 60 frames per second remaster coming soon for Xbox One and PS4.
That it has.
If they're talking about within the same realms, if it is a HD polish on Dragon's Dogma, which is perhaps faster, like Swisher looking, but has online co-op and allows you and your pawn to play with a friend and their pawn through that world. Seriously, game of forever.
That's it. Like, we're done.
Yeah, but in the same degree, I wonder if Capcom are looking at the success of Dragon Age Inquisition, perhaps thinking that the ambition and the design and everything that made Dragon's Dogma so good was maybe a little bit before its time. And are seeing the popularity of Dragon Age Inquisition and are kind of going, if we hand this to people after they finished Inquisition, they may well sort of jump onto it, and maybe Capcom are kind of realising what they've got as well.
And here's what they need to make it absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Make all the pawns still available. Just import the pawns over. Let us use the pawns that already exist. If you don't want to play online with a friend, for instance. So there is still that vast array of friend pawns that might they not be playing it, they still exist. Yeah. So your friends that might not necessarily have a next-gen machine, but have made a cool pawn that you like using, you could still keep using it.
Well, it depends if you're picking up from that point. I'd imagine you probably...
If it's a straight port, then there's no reason why that shouldn't work.
I'd imagine you're probably going to be starting from point zero. But if they've got that database to kind of delve into... might be kind of interesting. So
we can rock up and, Optimus Prime and Flufflepup are good to go. I mean,
yeah.
Hell yeah, boy.
Right, Delvin.
Okay, the next topic of our Game of the Year show is... Hang on, let me do a drum. This one.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, okay, I expected that to be more of a payoff.
No. Is that better?
That sounds good. What's the topic?
Notable thing of the year. So this can be anything to do with games which you think has been a big thing to talk about.
Okay. Why don't you go first?
Okay. Let me see. My notable thing of the year is the Xbox One.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
At the start of the year, you couldn't have given me one.
Yeah.
After all the fuck-ups and the snide of the previous regime and all the things that they tried to get away with, all those presentations about telly and all that kind of guff. No. Phil Spencer came in and gave an absolutely fucking brilliant E3. I mean, that was the first presentation that was on the floor in E3, and it was just games. Just fast-paced, we've got all these great games coming out, and there was no telly, no twat, no spaff. I was interested, and I was like, because I had a 360, I enjoyed a 360, and 360 was it was the biggest seller of that generation, but it also did so much that was right, and for Microsoft to fuck up, take advantage of their fan base in the way that they did so aggressively. It was just like, oh yeah, I thought anybody will put up with that. Was bizarre. But I picked up the machine in September. It's become the machine I use the most if I'm not gaming, and the games are currently running a bit cheaper than on PS4. I don't know if that's the lower user base or whatever, but Dragon Age Origin, for example.
Inquisition.
I picked up... sorry, Inquisition, yeah. I picked
Every
up...
time.
Yeah. I picked up £9 cheaper on Xbox One than PS4.
Not bad at all, is it?
Which is mental. So it's, you know, it's there. I'll watch like YouTube, Crunchyroll, Netflix. I watch Twitch a fair bit when I'm kind of working out or eating my dinner and that sort of stuff. And also, they started doing updates on the machine, which were our friend Sean brought me into the dashboard preview program.
Oh yeah.
Where they've been listening to people and what they want altered on the dashboard. They'll do a version of it for those people on the preview. Any feedback, anything that's wrong, folks let Microsoft know. Then, when everything's working properly, they give it to everybody else. And they've been doing those updates at the fastest they've been doing, like on a monthly basis. The slowest have been like every 2 or 3 months. It's quite incredible. And now, you know, even on the last updates, they gave like MKV playback. Yeah, which is almost like, it's like, tell you what, you want the internet's most torrented, high quality file to plug straight into your Xbox One. There you go.
Do you know what the internet likes? Piracy. That's what the internet likes.
You can plug sort of USB hard drives into the back of it. I think it's a really good machine. I'm surprised on just how much I use it for now. And bizarrely enough, a lot of that stuff is kind of, you know, viewing stuff, not just games.
Yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair, with my PS3, I mean, that thing played anything. You know, you could chuck any old file on it and it would work. And it's mad that the PS4 doesn't do that, because we still use my PS3 as, you know, the Netflix machine, the YouTube machine, even though those apps are available on the PS4. We just used them on the PS3 and.
Well, I was the same with, like, the PS3 was my viewing machine. Yeah. That's where I had kind of, you know, a US Netflix was on there, kind of. With regards to Crunchyroll, it's available on US PS4, but not on UK PS4.
It's
and
weird.
If you download it, you have to put the priority of your console to your US account. And, you know, I just think that at the end of the day, we had sort of deals going on Black Friday through Christmas, which were just insane. Do you remember some of the games that they were giving away, and when there were about 70 quid's worth of games being given away on Black Friday with them and stuff? Yeah, they were just. That was a good day for people that want to buy a machine. But even beyond the machine, if you're not interested in it and stuff, the upswing all round is we've got a console wall around our hands. Yeah, it's back on again, and it's not the easy trip that we thought it would be, is it? Yeah, I mean, if anything, because we had a chat and we thought that maybe Sony might become a little complacent within the massive lead that they've gained, but with Microsoft really running at this faster and more determined than I've ever seen them do, Sony's kind of come back firing, which is great. And I think that anytime you've got two companies going at each other like this, it's good for the consumer. And on the other side of that, you've got Nintendo have had a great Christmas with the Wii U. Lots of people are getting them as kind of a second console, are really enjoying them. This is what we want. We want all of the companies doing their level best for the consumer, and, you know, letting us sit amidst that, take our pick, take our choices, get our bargains, and just play some really fucking great games. But the fact that they've taken the mess that was there, they've picked themselves up, sort of, they've pulled their socks up by the ankles, and they've got the machine to the state it's in now. And I'm just dead impressed, and I really like the machine. So, yeah, that's my thang. Wow. Of, my notable thing of the year 2014. Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, my thing of the year is something I was originally going to choose as my game of the year. Controversially going to choose it as my game of the year. It's not really a game, but it's the best thing you can do with 40 quid. Okay. And the best thing you can do with 40 quid if you like games is you buy PlayStation Plus. That is the best thing you can do with 40 quid. And I'll tell you for why. Now, I'm going to need to take a deep breath for this. Okay. Fuck me. Okay. This year, just 2014 alone, from PlayStation Plus, okay, your £40 gets you access to all of these. Are you ready? Mm-hmm.
Hang on there. You take a better breath. I'm going to laugh. Okay, it gets you. Devil May Cry, Borderlands 2, Soul Sacrifice, BlazBlue, Don't Starve, Metro Last Night, Bioshock Infinite, Guacamelee, Outlast, Dead Nation, Tomb Raider, Brothers, Mercenary Kings, Pro Evolution Soccer 2014, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, Hotline Miami, Stick It to the Man, Payday 2, Puppeteer, Muramasa Rebirth, Everybody's Golf, Pixel Junk Shooter, Trying 2, NBA 2K14, Lone Survivor, Dragon's Crown, Surge Deluxe, Towerfall Ascension, Strider, Dead Space 3, Vessel, Lego Batman 2, Doki Doki Universe, Road Not Taken, Fez, Crisis 3, Proteus, Metrico, Lego Harry Potter, Velocity 2X, Sports Friends, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, TXK, Joe Danger, Batman Arkham Asylum, Drust and Elysian Tale, Dungeons and Dragons, Chronicles of Mystara, Pix the Cat, Rainbow Moon, Spelunky, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, SteamWorld Dig, Frozen Synapse Prime, Luff Rouse's Escape Plan, Final Horizon, Titan Attack, Secret Ponchos, Hitman Trilogy HD, Deadly Premonition, and Injustice. What the fuck?
I feel like you must have hit like a ribbon at that point and just confetti burst out.
I felt like going for the
standing in shorts and a vest.
Oh, I felt like going for the REM ending.
Yeah, somebody wrapped you in kind of a silver blanket and gave you a Lucasade.
Thanks. I feel like I need one. I'm a little bit shaky now. I wasn't sure if I could do that all in one breath, and it turns out that I can't because there's just so much there. What an insane list of things to give you.
You see, I will counter argument on this.
You sound a bit far away.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm forgetting that I'm recording under different circumstances.
You just wandered off.
I just wandered off. Yeah, I was wistfully looking out of the window whilst my voice trailed away.
You have a new machine now. Remember, you have to sit near.
Yeah, I've kind of counterbalance this with that. Sometimes the games that turn up on PlayStation Plus, I just don't end up playing that much of. It's almost like they're there for me to play, but I'm just not really that arsed.
I think that's fair. I think when you've been given something for I'm gonna say free now. I know it's not free, but we're not gonna get stuck in pedantics here. When you're given with something free, there's less impetus for you to do something with it than if you'd gone out and you'd bought it with your money. Like, I think so. I spent all this, blah blah blah. Whereas when they just give something to you, it's a bit harder to kind of get that initial investment. And we're going to cover a fair few of the things I just mentioned a bit later, in a bit more detail. But like all of that, 40 quid.
Yeah, but
it must be insane. There's no better way to spend 40 quid.
I think that if you're clever as well, you can probably get it for a lesser price.
Oh, even definitely. But even then, like, it's if someone, I've said it to many people, real life people, internet people, what do you think I should get? What game should I buy? I'm like, just get PlayStation Plus.
Internet people, you make them sound like they're like borrowers that live in the wires.
They're sort of like Morlocks in that way.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll ever escape into the real world. Ever imagine what cheese tastes like? Oh, I have. Grab onto this massive cotton wool bud and we'll have a fight.
This has taken a weird spin.
Yep.
Yeah, many times this year, people have said, what? Because I make no secret, I like my games, and people in my workplace, for instance, will say, what should I get? And I tell them, get PlayStation Plus, you fool. Like, even if you don't like everything every month, for the amount you're paying for it, it works out, what, £3 a month? That's one beer.
Yeah.
That's one beer. That's a bus ride. That's half a packet of cigarettes if you're into that sort of thing.
I think with the essential nature of it though now, I mean you've got your 3 monthly options and stuff, but I know that if I was still out of work, it would be quite difficult for me to find that kind of money all in one go. So that's. But I see what you mean. I mean, I think it's one of those things we kind of take for granted a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, there's just so much in it. I mean, each month you can tot it up, and they're giving you like between 25 to like 60 quid's worth of games. It's ridiculous. Like Injustice last month alone, that's again not an expensive game now, but that's one of the first full retail PS4 games that's made an appearance on it. And I'm having a fucking whale of a time with it. Whale of a time. It's dumb, but it's brilliant. And like a lot of the, the indie games that are getting a lot of the attention, like the, for example, your Velocity, your Sports Friends, your Binding of Isaacs, that sort of thing, coming out for free on PlayStation Plus. You're thinking, I would have paid money for that, and now I don't have to. It's incredible.
I think there's an aspect though that Chet and John leaned into, and it's entirely true that things that are coming out on games with gold don't seem to have as much presence as when they're released on PlayStation Plus. That there seems to be, I don't know, they were talking about with Super Time Force that it kind of just disappeared a little bit on games with gold. But with it coming to PlayStation Plus now, that kind of feels like the right home for it. I mean, Chariot disappeared a little bit on games with gold, and now that's snuck out on PlayStation Plus. Sorry, PlayStation.
It's on the network. It's not a Plus.
Yeah. And it's coming to Wii U and stuff. It's kind of lost maybe the presence and the splash that it might have gotten if it had turned up on Plus in the same way as kind of Pix the Cat did, and everyone was talking about it when it came out.
Plus Day is always a good day for me.
Yeah.
Plus Day always treats me. Today's Plus Day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, today's the Swapper, isn't it? See, again, another game that I really was, liked it on the PC, thought I'll buy that, and now I don't have to. Yay! Fucking brilliant. It almost feels like a crime. It actually feels like a crime, the amount of value I get out of it. I feel like I'm doing something bad. But yeah, that's my thing of the year. My thing of the year is PlayStation Plus, and I can close that massive list that I wrote now.
Or I should do that in the box, shouldn't I?
Are you opening a door to topics?
Yeah, that was the ottoman of choice. Right.
Okay. The next category shall be the one you have in your hand right now.
I have selected one.
Select it. Silence in the audience.
Fancied buying, but didn't get.
Okay, so this will be the games that we saw during the year that we thought, that's kind of cool, but never ended up grabbing.
Yeah.
Okay, how many do you have?
I've got 3.
I've got 4.
Okay.
I'll go first then.
Yeah.
I'll nip in quick. We'll cover these quickly because we don't have much to say about them because we haven't played them. The first one, Child of Light. Came out, looked awesome. I don't know why I didn't end up buying it in the end. It looked exactly the kind of sort of, weird downloadable game that I like. Just never picked it up. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was out on... Because I wanted to play that on Wii U more than anything. And was holding out for that version. And it was something like £3.70 the other week.
Ooh.
And I went to get that and another title. But it turned out it was just more than 15 quid. And for them together. And I didn't have enough already on my account, and Nintendo's credit is sold in bulks of chunks of 15 quid.
Yeah,
and I'm not giving any company my credit card details. So yeah, I was like, and the irony being, the other game that I wanted came down in price the week after, and Child of Light went back up.
Oh, for God's sake!
So, yeah.
The irony, but yeah, no, it looked really cool. I like the aesthetic of it. I like that they brought out an actual physical edition of it as well on a disc that came with a little weird light up keyring, which was kind of neat. Just never picked it up. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. What's yours? First one.
My first one is Bayonetta 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
The world and their dog raved about Bayonetta. I only played it very, very briefly. Like the look of it, like the look of the remaster. Like the look of Bayonetta 2, it was just a point where I just had other stuff that I was playing, and couldn't. If I'd have picked it up, it would have just sat there. And looks very, very cool. I'd still like to get into it, but just didn't pick it up.
Interesting. Yeah, Bayonetta 2 is it's one I'd like to play, but don't have a Wii U yet, so can't. But yeah, to be honest though, if I did have a Wii U, I'd probably still be in the same position as you. I probably wouldn't have picked it up yet. Just for the fact there's just so fucking much out at the moment.
Yeah, I've got other stuff that I've got big experiences that I'm kind of losing myself in. If there's anything that has probably been my focus of this year, that rather than flitting around with lots of stuff and then moving on to something else and leaving a game incomplete, I'm immersing myself in the experience a lot more, and it feels more satisfying for me to do that.
Yeah.
What's your second one, Yo?
Second one, Yo. Second game that I wanted to buy but didn't is Counter Spy on the PS4 and on the Vita.
Yeah, I heard Chat and John talked about that quite favourably. Said it was
Yeah.
sort of quite a short experience.
I had a go at it when I was at Gamescom this year. Had a quick trial in the PlayStation truck of cool stuff, which was a hell of a way to sew games off. It was awesome. Played it there, liked it. I'd really dig the kind of the sort of spy, sort of the groovy sort of 60s aesthetic it had. I really sort of dug it, and I just never picked it up.
I think it's one of those that screams PlayStation Plus.
Oh god, it will be. Yeah, it will be definitely, without a doubt. That's the PlayStation Plus game in the future. Just a matter of when, really. Again, don't know really why I didn't end up picking it up, but you know, like you say, I was kind of invested in a couple of large games, and I don't need another distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's your next one?
Hyrule Warriors. Never really gotten into Dynasty Warriors. Never really gotten into Zelda particularly, but just quite like the look of this, and was kind of curious as to whether it would be my sort of thing or not, because Dynasty Warriors alone can be quite polarizing. But I know a lot of people that have really loved it, and even beyond those folks that already love Dynasty Warriors, to which it's like a dream game for them. There are folks who I know, like a lad that I work with picked up Hyrule Warriors.
Hello, Jonathan Moss.
And had never played a Dynasty Warriors game before, but loved it. So it seems sort of quite an accessible way.
I think a lot of people are taking that route in, aren't they? Though I mean, I think a lot of people's experience with Dynasty Warriors, my own personal one as well, is like I think I played one of the demos. Is like I just don't get it. I do not get it.
I played the Vita one, and it didn't really move me. And Hyrule Warriors seems to have pared everything back to the nucleus of the game. Added Zelda, massive guitar versions of Zelda themes. Play as bad guys, pull moons from the sky, and like smash warriors with it. It just looks a lot of fun, and it's one of those where I think if I ever get a drought or I fancy a palate cleanser, that will be the perfect one to go for, because it's unlike anything else that I'm playing. Yeah,
they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty. I don't want to sound reductive, but they're quite mindless as well. Really, you just sort of run around, smash a few buttons, kill a bunch of guys, and move on. I mean, I played the One Piece version of that for review this year at one point. It was the same sort of thing. It was exactly the same framework, but it was bright and colourful, and it was pleasing on the eye, I guess. And there was a guy called Smoker who had 2 cigars in his mouth at all times, which was, okay.
As I understand it, though, when it gets to kind of the higher difficulty levels, a lot kind of changes.
Oh, so definitely, yeah.
I have to hold up my hands and plead ignorance on the subtleties of that.
As do I.
Just that there are a lot of people that I know whose opinions I trust, who really rave about those games. Like it's one of those like the Yakuza games where I've never really gotten near them, but a lot of folks that I know speak wonderfully highly of them. So.
The only one of the Yakuza games I've played with any real... actually, the one I've ever played properly was Yakuza Dead Souls, the zombie one.
Oh, yeah.
And that game is tonally all over the place. Like, it's kind of like trying to be this kind of, mafia sim, but there's also kind of zombie outbreaks happening all over the city, and you're going to hostess bars where there's a zombie outbreak literally no more than 10 yards away. And you're just sitting there with your hostess girl buying a chicken in a basket. It's a weird game.
Yeah, that sounds like...
But if you're saying, get it, it's funny.
that's coming to PSN soon.
It is, I think it's already out.
Yeah, and Yakuza, is it Yakuza 5 is getting a Western translation?
It is, yeah.
And PlayStation 4, so that might be the in. Although, as I understand it, like the momentum of the Yakuza games and getting to know people and the characters, and there's a definite momentum between games. So that might be an interesting point to start.
Yeah, I would read up your backstory first, because if you're going in clean, some of the things aren't going to make any sense.
Hell, I ended up picking up the first game for about $1.99 on PlayStation 2, so maybe it might be a time to either pop that on and see if the
reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, my next one then, titles I fancied but didn't buy. Dive Kick.
Okay.
Which is for those unaware, it's a completely down to the bare essentials fighting game. You have 2 buttons, dive and kick.
Now, I've heard mixed reports about this.
Well, I've played it once. It was incredible. incredible. It's a lot of people find fighting games quite impenetrable, and that's understandable because trying to work out, blocks and cross counters and parries and all the various mechanics that go in and make one of these games, what it is. They're incomprehensible. I mean, tried to get one of the Guilty Gear games this year and just did not understand why there were 18 different meters on screen at any one point. I don't get it. Same with BlazBlue. I just don't get it. Dive Kick just pares it down to you have to kick the other guy in the head. That's it. All you do, and it's all about the spacing and the mind games, and that's why anybody can grab it, because you can really just hop back and forwards, and it's all about spacing. You're not worried about trying to memorize a move, like move lists. You're just trying to be in a better place than the other person and knock a kill on the head. And in a year where local multiplayer has been pretty good for me, again we'll cover that later. In a year with lots of local multiplayer, I really should have bought it by now, and I don't know why I haven't. Again, I'm listing all these games, and I don't know why I've not picked them up yet, because it's not like they haven't been cheap. I think it was about $3.50 at one point. But again, it's probably going to be a Plus game soon. So
yeah, and it's probably one of those that's going to find a place and time where you've got enough time to truly devote to it,
to master the 2 buttons.
Yeah.
You make me sound stupid. It's only 2 buttons. It's not hard. What was your last one that you fancied but didn't buy?
Shovel Knight.
Oh.
That it was one of those that there were loads and loads of delays on Wii U over here when it had already been approved in America, but there was something about the registration process. They wanted the game on a USB stick rather than just being able to send them over the game. And it took ages to come out, and at the point that it did come out, I was knee deep in other stuff. And this was the other game that I was going to get with Child of Light over Christmas, and it said that there's 33% off if you already own the 3DS version, which I didn't, and now there's 33% off, but just as a standalone thing. But Child of Light's now gone back up to its previous price. So, bugger.
Yeah. Get on that.
Yeah, it's about $8.99 now, and I fancy
worth
chowing down on that beast.
We'll cover that later. It's worth it. Okay. Well, my last one that I fancied but didn't buy, Oddworld New and Tasty.
Okay. It's supposed to be really good.
I know. I'm a big Oddworld fan. Only from the first 2 PS1 games, though. I've never played Stranger's Wrath or Munch's Odyssey, even though I own them on everything now. I've just never gotten around to actually playing them. But those first 2 Oddworld games, they captured 11-year-old me in a really weird way. Like they're very unique. Like nothing else looks like them. Nothing else sounds like them. They've got their own sort of bizarre logics that you can use in the game. The fact there's a button dedicated to farting is basically the best thing you can give to an 11-year-old. Just walking around going hee 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 over and over. And that, I really want to get New and Tasty for it's half the nostalgia, but it looks like they've actually made the engine fully 3D. It looks gorgeous. Like it looks fucking tasty.
It looks fantastic.
It's all, to pardon the pun, it's new and it's tasty looking. I mean, if you've
got resonance for the original, certainly. I think that.
But I think the price point is probably the reason why I've not gone for it, because £20 at launch seemed like a little much.
Yeah, although you might pick it up and then go.
Oh, it's been going up and down since as well, so I'm sure I'll grab it for a decent price soon. But yeah, £20 just seemed a little too much for me.
Right, I'm delving back into the box.
And grab that one. Okay, the next topic, while CJ unravels it, the next topic we shall cover shall be
most disappointing game of 2014.
Ooh, okay, we're in the negatories now. Ooh, okay. I have 2.
I have 1.
Okay, I'll go first. My first most disappointing game of 2014 that I really, and I think it's probably fair to say at this point, this isn't bad games. This is not a game that we thought was bad. This is a game that did not live up to expectations that I had. I'm not saying this is a bad game because the internet will crucify me. I'm saying it wasn't what I liked. First game is Fez.
Okay.
A title that has a very vocal fan base on the internet. You bring up Fez on Twitter, a bunch of people go, "Yeah, love it, it's really good," and you see a lot of fan art going around, and it's a critical darling and it's a fan favourite. Like a lot of people like the game, and it came out. It came out on the PSN. I think it had a money off it on Plus or something. I don't think I bought it when it was free. I picked it up for about £5. It was cross-buy, so I could put it on the Vita and the PS4 and sort of flip back and forward on my save. Really, really wanted to like it, but about an hour in, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it anymore. It's almost too vague with its structure for me. You're kind of mixing around, kind of doing perspective shifting puzzles, and you go through an area, you think you've done quite well, and you move on, and you check your weird holographic 3D map, and it shows you've missed 8 things in that area, and you think, fucking where? Like, one item you could think, I've missed one secret there, but you're combing these areas and you're like, I don't understand what I'm missing. I don't understand it. And it kind of put me off a bit, and I don't like the audio. I find the graphics to be a little bit too bright. I just didn't click with it. I really, really wanted to. I just never clicked.
That's a sadness, because I can say that there's a definite reluctance in the controversy that I'm going to bring next.
Okay. Okay. What was your most disappointing game of 2014?
It's the game which has been heralded as many people's best game of 2014. My most disappointing title of the year is Mario Kart 8.
Wow. Didn't expect
I love
that.
I love kart racing. And when I picked up a Wii U last year, part of the initial love especially was falling hugely in love with Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Something I share with you.
Yeah, stunning music. The racing's amazing. Tracks that constantly evolved. Your vehicles constantly evolved. Some truly memorable and brilliant levels. And Mario Kart 8, I just didn't find fun. I had a decent laugh on the multiplayer, including an ace battle on one game night where there was myself, Leon, and Darren from Kane and Rince, all twatting into each other, trying to be first on the last lap, which was a riotous night, a really, really good night. But other than there's a winter slalom track. I think it might originally be from the N64 Mario Karts, which kind of is one long continual track. I found most of the designs quick and really, really dull.
Really?
Within sort of minutes, you're back at the start point again, and I mean, for me, there's no tracks that even vaguely compare to the Afterburner level of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which is just stunning. There's nothing that compares to the Shinobi level. Nothing that comes near to Samba de Amigo level. It's just, I fell head over heels into Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Loved it. Fun to race. Just brilliant game. And all the time when I was playing that, I was like, I can't wait for Mario Kart 8. I'm pretty sure it was in my most
anticipated. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
From last year. But there's a point where you're playing something and you're kind of trying to lull yourself into going, fucking yes, this is the point. That was the tipping point. I'm here. I've joined you all. And I know a huge amount of people that just, that have bought Wii U's for it and had great times over Christmas, made up for that. Loads of people, it's exactly the game that they wanted. It's their game of the year. I just don't think it even vaguely comes close to Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Hence, I traded it.
Wow.
I mean, I'd like to come back to it at a certain point when all the new tracks have come in and stuff, and maybe when all that DLC's there and give it another pop. But when it came to trading 3/4 of my collection in for an Xbox One, it still retained its quite high price, so it was
wow,
quite an easy one to fuck off.
Wow, we're going to catch some shit for this online, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Wow, we're going to catch so much shit. Okay, well, my last one then, which I don't think I'm going to catch a lot of shit for because no one seems to be talking about it anymore. My other disappointing game in 2014 looked amazing and then just did not get me in the way I expected it to. Mercenary Kings.
Oh yeah, that's the one illustrated by the guy that did the
Scott Pilgrim games. Yeah. It's the same developer. from the trailers, it looked like the sort of thing I'd really enjoy. You know, customise your guns, build up a random, you know, build up your own machines, you know, to go and fight and shoot, and it's all pixely.
Bit Metal Slug.
Sorry?
Bit Metal Slug.
Yeah, Bit Metal Slug. Yeah, totally. It looked like fun on the bun, and like, fun on the bun. It's a phrase.
Sexy.
People say that.
Sexy talk.
And I've played it, and I really
on the bun.
You're distracting me now. Okay, I played it, and I wanted it to be, you know, fast and loose and nippy, and it's just the most sluggish game I've played. I really gave it a good time as well. I really tried. I did the whole first batch of missions, got most of the way into the second lot. I couldn't do it. Like, it felt like, and don't take this the wrong way, but it felt like they tried to shoehorn Monster Hunter type stuff into it, and that had ruined it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's one thing having ambition and trying to do something from another game. It's another one where you don't pull that off, and that doesn't take away from the ambition of what you tried to do. It's just the focus is on the fact that you didn't do it.
Yeah, they definitely tried, but my God, did it not work? To get, you know, your weapon upgrades, you had to go and hunt for materials out there, and the shooting wasn't that fun on its own. And even with, you know, the cool guns, the shooting wasn't super fun, and the active reloading you had to do was a bit of a pain in the arse. I just couldn't get into its rhythms. I really wanted it to be good, and you jump online and people are like, you know, level 1,000 with the best guns ever, and you're just sort of limping along beside them. I wanted it to be good, it wasn't, and I couldn't even convince anyone to play it co-op with me. So, yeah, Mercenary Kings, boo.
Right, 2 left in the box.
2 left in the box. Okay, you're going to pick that one.
Right, do we go left or right?
Go left. It's worth noting at this point, again, we don't actually record in the same room, so I'm just guessing. He could pick up anything right now. He could be holding a Mars bar wrapper for all I know.
Listen.
Well, that's an interesting chewing gum wrapper you've got there.
No, shush. Okay.
What have we got?
Wanted to play more of.
Oh, okay.
So these are the games that maybe you've touched into, you kind of you quite like, but for some reason you did other stuff.
Okay. I've got 3.
I've got 3.
Okay. You can go
Let's
first.
fire into these.
Go.
First one, Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Oh wow. Okay.
Arrived for me at absolutely the wrong time for a shooter to turn up, which was when Destiny came out.
Ooh.
Surprisingly emotional, involving. Really enjoyed that, which I've played. Like, tugged on my heartstrings to a surprising degree. Made me surprisingly involved for a game again about sort of robo-Nazis and the such like. But the things that they do right, the emotional levels that and the layers that they put in, surprisingly brilliant. I have to get back to it. Your first one, sir.
My first one that I want to play more of, Infamous Second Son. Big Infamous fan. Played one platinum number 1, came close to platinuming number 2 as well. Really dug the world, really enjoyed the games, really, you know, enjoyed walking around that way, being basically Electro Hitler. If I could make someone's day worse, I did. I was a horrible human being. Second Son comes out, you know, looks stunning. Like, you can't say a word about how that game looks. It looks incredible. Pioneered the photo mode that seems to be investing everything now, which is also fantastic. Got to the point after you get Neon, but before you get the third one, and I've just kind of lost interest. I don't know why, but I kind of got the feeling that I've kind of done this all before. I know
you were a big fan of the first couple, weren't you?
Loved them to pieces. You know, those games were my shit. But I'm just not feeling it with this one. I think I don't like Delsin.
Okay.
I find it to be a bit like all the pricks that walk past you in the street and you think, what the fuck do you look like? But the problem is, the outfit he's wearing is exactly the kind of outfit that people wear in public now, and they look like dickheads.
Well, I've got that hat. I look lovely in that hat.
I've got some horrible news for you. I'm afraid you might be a dickhead.
Yeah, well,
yeah, with a little with the jean jacket with the arms cut off and the sleeve and the hoodie over the top. Like, I've seen that exact look more times because I notice and think that guy's cosplaying. No, that's his outfit.
No, because that's fashion, mate.
Oh, fuck fashion!
That's what people wear. Yeah, that's why you're the problem.
Do you know what I'm wearing right now?
In the mirror.
Do you know what I'm wearing? I'm wearing a sweater vest right now.
Yeah. Right, moving on.
A sweater vest and a beanie.
Shut up. Right, my next one is Master Chief Collection.
Ooh, otherwise known on to people online as the Master Chief Shitbox.
I'm a massive Halo nerd. It's incredible value, and yet so much became broken. I'd kind of moved on to other stuff. I don't know. I think I was playing stuff concurrently, but the point I stopped playing was when folks on Twitter said that updates were erasing their saves.
Ooh.
And even though I understand that this has been sorted out since, I haven't gone back. Stunning value, like I say, perhaps too ambitious a project for 343 to manage all in one go, because getting sort of 4 games and all of those maps in one package is incredible value.
Bit of an undertaking, isn't it?
Yeah, and on the upswing, I am getting ODST free next year as a result, and ODST is one of my favourite games of last gen. So yeah, we'll see how it settles down. But
damn.
What you got?
My last one, my second one. Last one, I'm getting ahead of myself. Second game I want to play more of, the Lego Movie game.
Okay.
We got this full price, 50 quid. I can't remember why now. I think I was having a bad day and needed to cheer myself up, so I bought something colourful.
Written by the wonderful Graham Goring, who wrote Lego City Undercover.
Yeah. But the problem is, I think I'm realising that I might be coming to a point where I think I'm done with Lego games now. Yeah, and I'm scared. I really am afraid of that, because me and Laura, between us, have bought and 100%ed all of them pretty much probably up to this point. I think Lego The Hobbit was the last one was where we sort of stopped. We bought the movie game, and it's a bit broken in places. Like 3 times during the course of the game, we've been doing stuff going, what are we trying to do here? I can't see what was doing, and it has actually crashed.
Do you think they sort of maybe ran out of time?
I think it's been pushed out too early, definitely.
And
I think that giving them the actual Lego, world to play in, I think it's actually to its detriment. I think I prefer the Lego games when they're sort of tied down to a thing. Like the Lord of the Rings ones and the Harry Potter ones were fantastic.
Yeah, but by the same regard, you saw how good Lego City Undercover was.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Undercover looked great, but I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of got all of Lego to play with, but because it's shackled to the movie, doesn't. And it's just kind of, it's a bit limp, really, and you're just sort of doing the same things I've done 1,000 times, and I'm getting to a point now where I don't really have 30 hours to spend running around picking up every gold brick anymore. I've been there. Right, okay, what's your next one?
My third one is Taukiden.
Who?
It's an amazing cross between the mechanics of Monster Hunter, but in a Dynasty Warriors style setting.
Oh, this is that Vita one, isn't it?
But with demons, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's smooth as heck. There's incredible fight mechanics, like to the point where I was going back to the demo when there are little bits where you can practice sort of the fight mechanics and stuff. I was going back to that bit when I was trying a new weapon or two to get used to a weapon again, just to make sure that I was using all of the nuances. There's so much to it. It looks incredible. It's probably it's definitely one of the prettiest games I've ever seen on the Vita. It looks stunning on the screen. I know Dan Marr was a really big fan of it. So yeah, it's fantastic, and I really need to go back to it. I think it's on PSN sale again this week.
Ooh.
But it's amazing. I love to co-op that with you, mate. Absolutely love to co-op it with you.
Nice, we might.
That's my 3.
Cool. My last 3, my last one is another Plus game. Pix the Cat.
Okay.
Really dig it. Really like it. But I can't play it for more than half an hour without kind of wanting to go play something else. I don't know why. I like it. I like the aesthetics. The nostalgia mode is hilarious. They've got lots of different. They've taken the snake mechanic that it's basically based around and tried varying different permutations of what that snake mechanic could do. Collect a big long chain and drop it off on the egg holes, which is what they've done before. There's a puzzle mode where you have to kind of get all of your pick up a load of points and chuck them in. I think that one's sort of themed as a science experiment. You look into a petri dish and you have to drop all your amoebas in the right holes in the right order, which is fun. The nostalgia mode, which is basically just Snake. It's really fun, but I just can't play it for more than half an hour without needing a break from it. And I kind of feel like there's a whole game under there that I've not got to yet, but haven't had to give it the time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pigs the Cat, I want to play you some more. I think you're really cool, but I just need to get that moment, like you say, that moment when you grab something, you're like, yep, get it now, yep, fine, sorted. So yeah.
I played it briefly, but I didn't seem to... I didn't seem to be getting any further the more I played it.
Strange, isn't it? But like, I think the next sort of level ups are kind of tied behind doing good, and I'm not that good yet. And I have other games that I can play and do something productive in without feeling like I need to, have a lucky run. So I don't know. Yeah, Pigs the Cat. That's my last one. What's next? Blood.
The last one. We don't need to go in the box, but
go in the box anyway.
I'm going to go in the box anyway.
Go.
I dropped the thing.
Oh god, this is.
I picked up the piece of paper.
Pick it back up. This is a quality production we run here.
I'm unfurling it, even though I know what it is. Games bought but have not played.
Ooh. So things we've gone out and purchased real money on, but just haven't got round to.
They might still be sealed.
Might still be sealed. How many have you got?
2.
I have 3. I will begin. My first game I bought but haven't played yet is Last Tinker, City of Colours.
You only got that last week, though, didn't you?
I know, but I had real trouble thinking of ones for this one. Because I tend to put everything in.
But you've got 3!
I have got 3. But no, this is one that I should have played by now, though, is the problem. I played a demo for it on Steam. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was a bit like, plays like an old PS2 platformer, and I mean that in the most flattering way possible, because I really, really like PS2 platformers. Really colourful. I know, City of Colours, lol. Really colourful. Got a nice sense of charm to it. I think it's going to be pretty great. But it's been sitting on my PS4 since I bought it, and I've just not had the impetus to begin it yet. But I will. Last Tinker. It just looks like a nice throwback to all the games I used to like, and it's colourful. It's not gone all dark and grim on me. Jack 2. Yeah, Last Tinker. That's all I've got to say. What's your one? First one.
First one is Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, okay.
And you picked it up for $24.99 when you were here.
I did.
On Black Friday, for an hour, it was £21.49.
Fucking hell.
So I was like, I can't let it go by at that price. and I've been playing other stuff. So
did you get it on PS4 or 1?
PS4.
Hey, that's good. And I'll tell you why that's good, because if an orc kills me, it can turn up in your world as well.
Awesome.
And there are revenge quests, and I've done one of them in Mordor, and I don't know what happened, but I met basically a Terminator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the super armor up and stuff.
Yeah, level. The orcs have levels in the game, starting about level 3 for the weak ones, going up to about, at the point I'm at, I've got like level 11. This guy was level 16. it sat on me. It destroyed me. So yeah, I hope that. Oh, good. Play it soon.
No.
Oh.
Also, I've got a bit that's fantasy wise going on at the minute, so it's probably gonna be after.
Oh, that's fair.
Inquisition.
By which time I'll have had some chance to build up some really, really awful people to put into your world. So yeah, please take all the time you want.
Sexy beast.
My next one that I've bought but haven't played, Surgeon Simulator on the PS4. From watching, I've played it on the PC, co-op with friends. One of us controls the mouse, one controls the keyboard. It's the only way to play it. Enjoyed countless videos of people playing it online. It's an incredibly funny game to watch and play, but just haven't touched the PS4 version. And
it's another one of those like kind of Octodad that just doesn't interest me in the slightest.
Oh, so you know, Octodad's pretty funny.
It just looks wank.
It's fiddlefuck. I like a good fiddlefuck game where it's all about dumb physics that don't work, and that's kind of like it has to be right. Like 9 out of 10 of the shitty simulator games that turn up online are just wank. But every now and again, one like Surgeon Sim or like Goat Simulator comes out, and it just hits that little perfect note of it's funny, but it does work enough that you can do it. I think Surgeon Simulator does hit that, but like I say, I've just not got around to turning it on the PS4 yet.
Cool.
I will one day, and hopefully it'll need an audience.
Sweet.
Cool. What's your next one?
Metro Redux.
Oh, okay.
Saw all the stuff for the amazing remasters that have been done on the Metro games. They were both put onto the same disc.
Yeah.
And pre-launch was available from one retailer over here for $19.99, which is like, you know, tenner a game. Yeah, all right then. But again, it was launching just before Destiny. I think I'd picked up Wolfenstein at this point and was playing Wolfenstein, and as I've mentioned, Wolfenstein got cast aside once Destiny sort of turned up. So it just got left, and it's still sealed. Bless it.
Oh, diddles. Okay, well, my last one then, owned but unplayed. It's a PlayStation Plus one, but it's one that I really should have played by now. Velocity 2X.
Okay.
Again, a lot of people that I listen to and respect, you know, say it's incredible. It's turned up on a lot of Game of the Year lists. Just haven't had the motivation to start it. I've played a lot of Velocity Ultra, the first one that came out on the PSP. Never really got very good at it, but I enjoyed it. And I've got 2X downloaded on the PS4, and it's on the Vita, so I can access it wherever I want. I just haven't had the impetus to actually begin it yet. And I know I should, because a lot of people are saying it's, you know, it's Game of the Year material. And I know the guys on Twitter, FutureLab, are very, very vocal about, you know, the fact that a lot of people seem to like it, and they seem to really dig the fact that people like it. Getting, you know, awards and you know, recognition from all sorts of places. But I don't know, it looks good. But I'm just very slow at starting games these days because
I really like that story that John Denton told about his 3-year-old boy.
I haven't heard that. What's that? Tell me that.
John was obviously a really big fan of the previous games and absolutely adored this one. You know, was fast as anything about it. And he's got a 3-year-old boy who's getting into gaming, and you know, you can play the game at any pace that you want to, pretty much. His son picked up his Vita and started finishing levels, and he said, like, you know, for example, say level 1, whereas John might get off it in like about 2 minutes. His son took 18 minutes to get off it, but did it.
That's cool.
And went back to FutureLab, and apparently this was something on their minds when they were picking it up, that anybody of any skill level or ability can play the game and take it at their own pace. And I think that's really cool.
It's neat.
Yeah. So yeah, it's another one I haven't delved into, and I like the look of it. When BitSocket did a preview at EGX 2013. Of a load of indie stuff, and I kind of went, oh yeah, that looks really cool, but just never delved into it.
Yeah, well, me too. But yeah, that's my last one. Is that all the categories done now?
I think that your suggestion to put this into a 2-parter was a great idea, because I think we've got a natural ending point there. So when we return, we'll be returning with our Lucky 7, which are our top 7 games of 2014. Hope you enjoyed this little satellite soiree, this little saunter around the edges.
What's a satellite soiree?
It's just something that I've copyrighted.
Okay, good.
Right now.
TM.
Yeah. So join us in part 2, which will be up probably a day or 2 after, which will be our Lucky 7, our top games. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone. Ciao.
Bye.